Freedom Day, Jubilee Day, Black Independence Day. Welcome to our Juneteenth celebration. My name is Dr. Deanna Kimbrell, Chief Diversity Officer and the Director of the Department of DEI. This is the first time Monroe County is celebrating Juneteenth. Juneteenth commemorates the emancipation of slavery in the United States. In 1862, President Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation that stated that it was unlawful to own slaves in the United States. However, it wasn't until over 2 years later in Galveston, Texas, that Major Gordon Granger issues the order that reads as such. The people of Texas are informed that, in accordance with the proclamation from the Executive of the United States, all slaves are free. This involves an absolute equality of personal rights and rights of property between former masters and slaves. And the connection heretofore existing between them becomes between employer and hired labor. It took over 2 years to inform enslaved people of their freedom. I mean, could you imagine working for free? Now, what about working for free 2 more years than what you have to? That is the power of knowledge, the freedom of reading and writing. It is with the highest esteem I stand before you today as an African-American woman to be of the highest level of education, working in a government structure to dismantle the very systems that marginalize people that look like me, that challenges the ideologies associated with slavery and racism that today continues to impact our healthcare, education, economic, and criminal justice systems. I am my ancestors' wildest dreams. I said, I am my ancestors' wildest dreams. With a team of outstanding professionals, give it up for my DEI team. We work to address discrimination, provide access to those with diverse abilities, and ensure language access for those that are limited English proficient. We are also working to help build wealth in our communities through our Minority and Women-Owned Business Enterprise Program. Today we celebrate our why it is even necessary that we do the work we do. We are the Monroe County Department of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, a department put in place to add an intentional focus to the advancement and awareness of marginalized groups, an effort set forth by our county legislators and carried out by the first and only county executive in Monroe County history that saw fit to make DEI a priority. It is with great pleasure I introduce to you Monroe County Executive Adam Bello.
Great, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Kimbrell. And I want to thank the work of you and your team at the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Department and for making this a priority for Monroe County government. Thank you and your team for all the work that you do. I want to thank DEI for helping to lead the Monroe County Culture Committee for putting today's celebration together and organizing us. I want to thank Corinda Crosdale, and I want to thank Josie McClary. Josie, where are you? There you go. Thank you, Josie. Today is a very special day, and we're going to talk about the meaning of Juneteenth in just one moment, but it's also the significance here locally, because today is the first time in the history of the city of Rochester and in Monroe County that we are here with a joint purpose, our two governments serving the same people, with a joint proclamation to recognize Juneteenth in the city of Rochester and Monroe County. And I want to thank the mayor of the city of Rochester, Malik Evans, and his team for their partnership in making today's celebration a reality. Let's give them a applause. When When I was thinking today about the importance and significance of Juneteenth, I think about a quote from former President Barack Obama. He said, "Juneteenth has never been a celebration of victory or an acceptance of the way things are. It's a celebration of progress. It's an affirmation that despite the most painful parts of our history, change is possible, and there is still so much work to do." I believe there is so much truth to this statement. We as a society have made so much progress since the Emancipation Proclamation, but we still have a long way to go to make equity in America a true reality. Let's face it, not everyone is starting from the same place. Many in our community are confronted with the pressure of uncertainty like no other time in our county's history. We are facing some of the highest concentrations of poverty in the nation. Many have lost friends and loved ones to violence or to the pandemic, and people of color experience these hardships disproportionately. Despite these challenges, though, I remain as energized and optimistic today as I did on my first day in office, because I've seen our community come together to build bridges to address inequity. No one of us has all the answers, but what keeps me energized is the work that you are all doing, this effort of collaboration and cooperation that's bringing this community together and move the needle forward. Frederick Douglass wrote, "Right is of no sex, truth is of no color. God is the Father of us all, and we are all brethren." Monroe County must continue to take a stand against racism and hate of any kind. We must also fight against the systems in place that have purposely held back Black and minority communities for far too long. Since the day I took office, we've made equity a priority of this administration, working with our Department of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, making sure we have culture change through the organization, to make sure that we have equal pay for equal work, to make sure that we are passing legislation and holding ourselves accountable to the policies, practices, and procedures in county government to make us a more equitable and inclusion organization. And the relationship with the city of Rochester has been as strong, I think, as it's ever been. Our partnership with Mayor Evans and the team at City Hall to address the recommendations by the Race Commission, to address the challenges that are facing our community every day, is how we're going to move this community forward. We still have so much work to do, but it's going to take all of us working together to make that happen. Today, let us celebrate all of the men and women who got us here today. Dr. King, Congressman John Lewis, Harriet Tubman, Sojourner Truth. But let this day also energize us to continue to work together to ensure that everyone can live by the constitutional promise of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And now it's my pleasure to introduce my partner in government, without who none of this would be possible, and who we are going to work together to bring that real change to our community, Mayor Evans.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. County Executive. Good morning, everyone. I want to thank everyone for being here today to honor Juneteenth with our dual flag-raising ceremony. I'm pleased to stand alongside Monroe County Executive Adam J. Bello and our community leaders, all of you that are here, as we raise that flag outside of City Hall and then again at the county. I want to thank the county executive. I'd like to acknowledge any of the elected officials that are here in the audience, officials, community leaders, the event organizers, members of the clergy, citizens of Rochester and Monroe County, and the incomparable Mr. Garth Fagan for being here today. I'm the proud son of a Baptist minister and activist who named me after Malcolm X. He wanted to name me Malcolm, but my uncle took it first to name my cousin Malcolm, so he named me after Malcolm X after he took his Hajj to Mecca, which was odd because Malcolm X was a Muslim. My father was a Baptist minister, but he liked the name Malik, so he named me Malik after Malcolm X. And Malcolm X once said, "You can't separate peace from freedom because no one can be at peace unless he has his freedom." So we are not only celebrating Juneteenth, we are paying homage to Africans who came to America against their free will. whose fight for a peaceful life was taken away, who suffered the inhumane treatment of the Middle Passage. Men, women, and children, separated and unclothed, packed close together and chained, forced to lay together in their own waste. It is them who we remember, those whom have the ocean as their final resting place, whose spirits rise with the tides of the seas, and those who labored and built this country with their blood, sweat, and tears. Pregnant women who toiled the soil, babies weaned too early and succumbed to malnutrition. We cannot romanticize what enslaved Africans endured because their blood runs through our veins. And let's set the record straight, because language matters. Africans were not slaves. They were Africans who were enslaved. You know, as a kid, Rochester didn't have as many Juneteenth ceremonies as we have now, so as a child, we would go to Buffalo. But now Rochester's kicking it up a notch, so we got a lot of them. So we're proud of that. And I always tell people, if my father were alive, he'd be standing strong and steadfast in honor of this anniversary of that sacred day on June 19, 1865, when about 2,000 Union troops arrived in Galveston Bay, Texas, and you can just picture that, to decree that the more than 250,000 enslaved black people in that state were free. And here we are today, free human beings. Here we are today, free human beings who've made tremendous progress because of those who've come before us. But the work is not done. We must continue to fight for equity, equality, and justice for people of color. We must fight to eradicate gun violence that plagues our cities across America, and we must continue to promote positive and systemic structural changes to make Rochester a hope-filled city with a promising future. And to honor Juneteenth while promoting positivity and unity, there are a variety of events to attend in our great city and county. And beginning today, right here at the county office building, where we experience the splendor of the Garth Fagan dance. And don't forget, on Saturday, there's the Juneteenth Festival at Dr. Martin Luther King Park, and free admissions at Strong Museum of Play. And on Sunday will be the Black Juneteenth Festival at Baden Park, and the Juneteenth Specials Father Day celebration at Brown Square Park. And on Monday, the 20th, from 11:30 to 2, we're going to have our first ever City Hall block party. We're going to close off the street, celebrate Juneteenth, and hear from Cinnamon Jones. Our city's communication team will hand out a fact sheet with a list of community-led celebrations that you and your families can attend. And then in closing, I just want to say, Dr. King once said, if the cruelties of slavery could not stop us, the opposition we know, he said, if the cruelties, I want to get this right, he said, if the cruelties of slavery could not stop us, the oppositions we now face will surely fail. Because the goal of America is freedom. Abused and scorned though we may be, our destiny is tied up in America's destiny. So I'm an optimistic person. I believe that the future is bright, and I want to thank the county executive for hosting us here today. Thank you all for being here today, and God bless you all.
Thank you, Mayor Evans, for your remarks and for your partnership in being here today. We are very lucky to have you as partners here serving our community. Monroe County is also incredibly lucky to be the hometown of the world-renowned Garth Fagan Dance Company. For 51 years, Garth Fagan has influenced dance culture in our community and around the world. The company started in the early 70s when riots rung out, and echoes of those riots still reverberate, and the hard-won changes of the civil rights movement were still in their infancy. Garth saw a need in his community, a need for children in economically disadvantaged communities to use dance as a tool to express creativity and encourage them to be their best selves, regardless of their race, gender, or background. It's through dance that Garth Fagan has given back to his community and so many others by sharing Rochester's rich dance culture, not just here at home, not just in the state or the country, but all over the world, making Think of this. His choreography has reached 24 countries throughout the world on 6 continents and even made it to Broadway with The Lion King. It is clear that Garth Fagan is living proof of excellence that comes from our city. I am happy to announce that tomorrow at 4:30, Garth Fagan Dance will be performing at Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial Park on Court Street. It is free and open to the public, and I encourage everyone to come to the park tomorrow at 4:30 to see this incredible performance. And before we get to today's performance, Garth, I'd like to invite you up here for a quick special presentation. Why don't you? So we have a plaque from Monroe County to commemorate Garth Fagan's 51 years of transformational and reformational artistry. And it says, Garth Fagan, Rochester's global phenomenon, artist, giant, and genius of movement and dance. Garth Fagan has captured our hearts and inspired our minds through 51 years of masterful choreography featuring the Fagan technique and unmatched performance excellence. On behalf of Monroe County, I'd like to present this plaque and award to Garth Fagan today, June 17th, 2022. We're not done yet. Good. I'm just getting started. We're going to put this down. Here, we're going to put this here.
Don't move too far.
To commemorate Garth Fagan Dance over 50 years of contributions and success here in our community, I'd like to unveil a poster that Monroe County has created to give to you as our gift to commemorate all of your contributions to Monroe County. Walk in front of the last piece. And I'm going to read the inscription on the key. It says, "The key to Monroe County, New York. Through your company, Garth Fagan Dance, you created a family that educates, expresses, and embraces an inclusive vision that communicates the beauty of the human spirit through movement, invention, causing our world to contemplate, deliberate, and exclaim bravo at your one-of-a-kind greatness. Your tireless work touches our hearts, expands our consciousness, and nourishes our souls for generations to come." Congratulations. Garth, would you like to say a few words?
Thank you ever so much. The gentleman, the mayor, the county executive, and everyone who has been so gracious today, so mother intercoursingly gracious today. thank you ever so much. It'll make me work harder. Steve Humphrey has been dancing with me from the very beginning. Steve, come on up here. Come on, come on, come on. So he has been dancing with me from our very first show, and he is now 12 years younger than me. And 12 years younger than 82 is still a young man, and his guts in better shape than mine has ever been in. So there, thank you, thank you. And to the dancers who will be performing today, this floor is concrete. Watch your jumps. Be cool. Save it for the sprung stage that we'll perform in the park. But thank you, everyone, for being here. Hallelujah, hallelujah, amen. My treasurer, and when you're treasurer for a dance company, you keep splitting the pennies to pay the bills. And my acting president, Jesse Dudley, wherefore art thou? Take a bow. Take a bow, Jesse. Good. Thank you ever so much. I'll treasure these, and it'll go in my room with all the honors I've received. And those are some serious pumps. Good.
Hello, everybody. My name is William J. Ferguson II. I'm the Executive Director of Garth, Fagan Dance. And we have Steve Humphrey, 51 years. So, go, yes. So everybody's thanking Garth today, but we want to say something a little special for Garth for providing a place and a foundation for us to express ourselves over these last 51 years for Steve, 45 years for PJ, 33 years for Natalie and I, 25 years for Nikki, and the young folks. And the young folks. So you see we have a very strong, thank you. And I want to thank County Executive Adam Bello, Dr. Kimbrough, Mayor Malik Evans, who generally runs out, because the brother's busy. The brother's doing what he got to do, and that's what we got to do. A couple other people I'd like to recognize. Our videographer of the last 200 years, Carvin Eisen. And a strong friend of the company for many, many years, whose family has kept us fed, whose wisdom has kept me and the rest of his council for many years, Mr. Jerome Underwood. That's just President of Action for a Better Community. So I could go on naming people, but we all have things to do today, but I just wanted to give you a chance to see the dancers, because you're going to be seeing us a lot. Make sure you come out tomorrow, 4:30, at Dr. Martin Luther King Memorial Park. Come to see us in September at our studios, Garth Fagan Dance Studios, for the Fringe Festival, and especially come and see us for our home season next December. I'm going to make sure y'all know. That's my job. Y'all will know. All right, so thank you very much. Oh, Rena Golden's over there. Let's not forget Rena Golden doing some real work over there. Yes. All right. Thank you so much. Everybody have a wonderful afternoon.